What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ajen back again for another Outerplane video. And for today, it's time to share with you my updated 3-star tier list, D.Stella and Hanbuli edition. So the couple of days I've been playing with D.Stella and Hanbuli, I can now confidently rate them in my tier list. And also, take note guys, tier lists are pretty much subjective. It varies from person to person. You may agree or disagree with me and it's fine. So just take it with a big grain of salt. I made a huge change in my tier list because before in the late game category, in the PvP, it's only PvP. But now I've categorized them as PvP offensive or PvP defensive. Because some units are way better in offense rather than putting them in the defense position. So I made it something like this. You might probably just disregard the early game because it's kind of useless in my honest opinion, but I'm still putting it up here just to show you guys that you should not be building these characters at the early game. There are way better characters to use in the early game than building them right away from the get-go. So we have a lot of changes here basing on the meta in the arena right now. Mostly changes in the PvP, not in the PvE. So this list is arranged alphabetically. So we have here on the first on the list is Alice. Alice has a really huge change in her skill set because she got a buff. She got a hero balance adjustment way back. And from a mediocre character to becoming a really good character, especially in PvP. I rated her as SS in PvP offensive because her kit in PvP offense is just really nice, really good. She can really bait those Tio to use their cleanse and their push, and then she can lock them by buffing the unbuffable buff. Really nice opener for a mage. And yeah, mind you guys, she is the best mage opener in my honest opinion up to this date. Maybe there will be more upcoming good mage character, but right now I think Alice is one of the best mage character in the game. So I rated her at SS in PvP offense, only S tier at defense. Although some of the high ranking characters now in our server are using Alice in the defense in their defense team, but those are really food for D.Stella because D.Stella exists. So Alice cannot be it's not a really good character choice to put in your arena defense team. But that's just me. That's my honest opinion with regards to her. So yeah, Alice is now a really good character. Next we have Beth. The only changes I have with Beth is that in arena defense, she's really a liability because she's somewhat squishy and she can be one shot by a lot of characters like Rin, Noah. So yeah, she's pretty weak in PvP defense. She's somewhat okay in arena offense because she has a cleave attack, especially if you can build her with a really nice speedy DPS gear. Next, the new addition to the tier list, Demiurge Stella or D.Stella for short. Broken character. It's to be expected because she is a boss character. Imagine releasing a limited boss character to be underwhelming, right? No one will spend their money just to try to get her. So it's understandable that she is a broken character. So double SS, PvE and PvP, both in arena offense and arena defense. She's just really good. Even a 3-star D.Stella is already pretty darn good. Imagine a 6-star D.Stella. That one is a nightmare to face in arena, especially now that arena has a HP buff. Man, I usually avoid the 6-star D.Stella because they are really tanky and really cancer in my honest opinion. Next we have Eliza, who has changed in her skill set. There are no changes in my ratings for her, only in the PvP defense because maybe it could change depending on your team building for her, but I really don't see any Eliza in the arena defense in the higher rankings, Diamond 1 to up to the Master 1 ranking in our server. That is why I gave her the Aether rankings. She is a really good opener because she has a really insane base speed because she is a ranger. So still pretty good, but the problem with her is that D.Stella and Tio exist. Those two characters are really making it hard for the debuffers to be playable in arena. Just like Eternal. Eternal is Aether in my honest opinion. Both in arena offense and arena defense. I've rated her before at S tier. Now I've lowered her to Aether because it's really hard to use Eternal in PvP, especially now in today's meta. Maybe they will have some form of new buff in the future upcoming season in arena, but today as of now Eternal is really hard to use in arena, but in PvE she's broken. Double S tier. Same with Francesca. Francesca is a really good single target DPS, but she's very squishy and she will just die. Maybe she can be one-hitted by D.Stella. So I've rated her at Aether at best in PvP. Her rankings got lower from my previous rankings because before I rated her at S tier in PvP, but now only Aether because she cannot fit well in arenas meta in today's meta. Next, we have the new character Hanju Lee. I've already made a showcase about her, and I've already talked about her also in my video yesterday. She's pretty good, but she is somewhat gear dependent. You really need really good godly gears for her to fully shine in PvP, but she's pretty darn good. In PvE also, same treatment, SSS, but she's good, but she's not broken. That is why I only gave her at S tier in PvE and PvP. Laplace, still the same even though she got a buff. In PvE, she's still SS. I did not change her ratings because Laplace true value is with her skill chain skill that has some HP cut. And that one is really valuable, especially in fighting Gia's bosses in guild raids. In PvP, she's not a PvP unit. She will just die there. Especially she is a single target DPS. She has no room for PvP in today's meta right now. Leo. Before I rated Leo in PvP at SS tier because during that time when I was making this tier list, I've seen a lot of players uses Leo, and Leo is really effective during those times. But now, I've only seen very few people uses Leo, and even though he has an invulnerability buff, if he does not have good enough damage, and also if his teammates are already dead, then those invulnerability buffs are somewhat useless in my honest opinion. I've already I've already fought a lot of Leo in arena defense before making this tier list, and it's pretty easy to get by those invulnerability, those invincibility buff. So that is why I've rated him down to S tier only. Maxwell, same with the case of Leo. Before, I praised Maxwell really high in PvP because whenever I fought a Maxwell before, I always died. I always got wiped out. There are very few characters who has really insane strong Maxwell build, but those are very rare. And Maxwell, I just rated him down to S tier right now because in today's meta, it's the dawn of the bruisers. Yes, and look at this. Noah has fallen down in PvP in my honest opinion. I've seen very few Noah uses now in PvP. In PvE, she's still pretty much broken, but in PvP, she does not fare well. That she's not that good enough anymore because of the rise of the bruiser, especially with D.Stella. Also, a counter build D.Stella exists. And Nova single target damage, if you will use Nova against D.Stella, Nova's single target damage is going to be mitigated because D.Stella has a insane amount of damage mitigation against single target. And yeah, this is why I rated Nova from SS tier to S tier in PvP. Rona, since this is the rise of the bruiser meta, I've seen a lot of people uses Rona now, and that is why I've changed her ratings from A tier to S tier in PvP. A really good build Rona is somewhat scary also in PvPs, especially paired with D.Stella and those other really good bruiser character like Veronica, and then a really toxic Tio. She's pretty good now. Rin, there's still no changes, even though there are still some even though this is the rise of the bruiser meta, she's still pretty darn strong, especially chipping out a lot of HP to the enemy, giving more room for your other sub DPS to finish them up like D.Stella. Pretty insane, especially if your Rin is built a really high speed Rin with a high attack. Still pretty broken in PvP in my honest opinion. Next we have Siren. I rated her at S tier in offensive side, but in defense team position in PvP, she is SS tier in my honest opinion. It's very toxic having Siren plus Tio plus Veronica and plus D.Stella in the arena defense right now. And having a really tanky unit in defense team right now is really cancer in today's meta, because not only they are really hard to kill, they are stalling really hard, and when the enemy stall you, you will just get killed by the lightning. Yes, because that is the disadvantage of in the arena offense. If you cannot finish the enemy right on time, you will get hit by lightning. That deals a really decent damage to your team, but if you're only running one healer in your team, you will not last long. And that is why stall team exists in PvP defense, and Siren is one of the characters that can make those stall teams really shine, especially in today's meta. That is why I rated her at SS tier in PvP defense. I'm kinda thinking of summoning for her right now because I still don't have Siren. Sigma, still SS tier in my honest opinion. She's somewhat underrated by most of the players in my honest opinion, because they will see Sigma's damage is somewhat poop. I've already showcased her and made a video regarding solely about her, and she is pretty darn good in my honest opinion, both in arena offense and arena defense. She will somewhat what do you call this, she will shock you. No pun intended. I mean, you will get shocked by seeing how fast Sigma and how good Sigma is, especially when you fight her in arena, especially also in arena defense, and also by using her. Just gear her with a lot of speed, and also if you want to make her do some decent damage, put some attack gears on her, then she's going to be fine. She's really darn good in I'm just thinking that maybe in offensive side, maybe she's only at S tier, but because of today's meta, but no, she's still an enabler for your team. She can still push your team by 10% with her 10% priority push, which is already pretty good enough for you to unleash your character's DPS attack. I'm not really quite sure if I'm I don't think this is because I'm thinking that if you are fighting a bruiser team, she might not last long because first of all, she's very squishy. Nah, let's just change her ratings to S tier now. Yeah, So I'm changing Sigma's ratings now to SR. She's pretty darn good. But in today's meta, I don't think she's that good anymore. Because as I've said, it is the dawn of the bruiser meta now. Stella, still pretty darn good. But the problem with Stella is that she's pretty rare. Yes, she's very hard to summon for because she does not have her own banner. And you can only get her from random pools in the standard banner. Next, we have Valentine. Her PvP defense has somewhat been lowered to S tier now because there are counters to her right now. You can really bait Valentine now by using D.Stella in arena offense, which makes her uses pretty much very minimal now. I've seen a lot of people already withdrawing their Valentine in their defense team because D.Stella exists. D.Stella will punish you if your enemy's Valentine is really fast. So yeah, but in PvP Open, she's still pretty darn good. Still SSR, she's still a broken character. You just don't need to use her S3 when you're doing when you're fighting D.Stella or something like that. Veronica is still the same broken SS in both PvP Opens and PvP Defense. A really strong character. And there's really nothing much to say about her. She's just one of the best bruiser character in the game right now. And that is my updated 3-star tier list. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And I think that's it for me for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you could help me grow my channel more. And thank you to everyone who are supporting my channel. I appreciate every one of you. Until next time, peace!